Hey guys, Alex here, ajnashville.com, here with a guest that's actually pretty familiar with the show, been on the show a couple times in the past, Mr. Nathan Ruff. Welcome.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, brother? How are you today?
Dude, it's good to be back. Good to see you. It's been
a
real
while.
crazy for both. I mean, you're now engaged, so
Well, I think the last time I saw you, I was coming back from a poker run. I was on the interstate. And that was a fun. Hey, how's it going too? So
Wait, you had that court hearing. We saw each other at in a parking garage.
right. Oh, that's right.
We
That's
were
right.
like both. And I didn't know if you knew it was me because I was like roaring my engine and then you were roaring your engine. I was like, I don't think he knows that this is not a competition. I'm just trying to get his attention.
Right. No, that was funny. I forgot about that. So most of you know this, some of you don't. Nathan was actually the creator, the inspiration, the everything behind the AJ Nashville logo. I came to him years and years ago. We worked together on in a networking group. And really clicked, hit it off, became
and
good
Alex
friends.
Was the only person in that group that gave people business.
Right.
Nobody referred business but Alex. Like you hired Amy for your insurance.
Right.
You hired me for your logo. You hired Eduardo for other things. You gave money to Jason. Like nobody ever. I don't know. I mean, maybe eventually Amy referred some stuff to you.
Yeah, Amy sent me some. Yeah, she sent me some deals. I've done some stuff
30
for her.
Cars on
right. Yeah, exactly. No, but the thing was at that point in time, I needed a logo. You and I were friends, and that's where every great relationship kicks off initially is a friendship, and then you had an understanding of what it was I was trying to accomplish, and you put together a logo that has resonated and been seen in hundreds of thousands of places. It's literally a logo I've got pictures of guys in Paris with my shirt on, and India even, which the guy in India lives in Michigan, but he happened to be, but it's something that's helped me develop my brand and develop something amazing. So as much as I would love to go on and on and on and talk about how awesome my logo is, which now you've done what, hundreds, thousands of logos?
I mean, we've done a lot of projects, but the big thing with 19, which I started when I was 18, was in 7 years we worked with 400 clients all over the world.
Right. And many of them are clients that either we've known in some form or fashion that we've referred over, and every single one of them has been extremely pleased with the outcome of their logo. A lot of work. Most people don't realize there's a difference between a logo and a brand. And that difference is where you really make that connection and saying, okay, this is what your logo represents, which is also your brand. But in my case, I wanted a logo that it didn't say Alex Mortgage Guy,
Well, I just remember saying, I think this was the conversation we had, which is that as long as your personal brand is what people are paying attention to, you can do anything.
Right.
So as long as you're not like the problem with the mortgagepro.com,
right.
The problem with that guy, it's like, all right, well, I hope you are cool with selling mortgages the rest of your
life. Yeah. It's not a timeless logo where you can evolve into other sectors and still retain the same logo of excellence. And that's what it boils down to is a logo of excellence. When people see it, I want them to recognize, hey, it's an awesome podcast. He's a great mortgage guy. He's a great speaker, things like that. So, but I want to segue into something different that you're doing. And this is something that is huge. You have found a way to solve a problem that many of us have on a day-to-day basis, and it's such a simplistic thing. It's literally one of those things when you're sitting on your couch one day and you're thinking about how can I become rich? And you look around and you see all these things that you're like, why didn't I think of that? And that is a product called Rabbit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what Rabbit is first.
Yeah, so, anywhere you go in the world, people's phones die. So whether that's in Shanghai, China, whether that's in Kenya, whether that is in Michigan,
Nashville, Tennessee,
whether that is in Nashville, like no matter where you're at, like people's phones die. And that could be at a conference. That could be like, think about on a conference how much you're on your phone.
Right.
But that could also be while you're out at a bar at 9:00.
Yeah.
Or it could literally be at 1:00 in the afternoon because you've been on calls all morning.
Right.
And you forgot to charge your phone the night before, whatever the case is. And so when you look at how do you solve this issue, like for me, like one of my life goals is to become a billionaire. So it's like I got to solve $1 billion problems.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, how do you solve this? So what exists now is like people have made free charging stations. So it's like, all right, now I'm going to sell a product to businesses that will not make them any money on the whole notion that it will keep their customers happy. The problem is like that doesn't scale. So It's not scalable. And on top of that, it's free, so nobody maintains it.
Right.
And you're not going to find it everywhere. Like it's just not going to, like in every bar and restaurant you walk into, you don't see a free charging station.
Yeah.
And you have to stand there. So that's not ideal. But, I guess the one benefit, it does charge your phone if you happen to find one.
Or if you happen to find, you look at the bartender, you're like, hey, man, you got a charger back there I can use? But here's the thing. There's a security risk that most people don't realize. When that phone leaves
the bar
your
is
hands,
now liable for it.
Well, not necessarily liable for that as much as the information on the phone.
Yeah.
You never know. If you don't have a password-protected phone, is your phone over there? Are they downloading your information, your pictures, your text messages, your Apple Pay credentials? All kinds of different stuff that could be taken from it when it leaves your hands. That's the one thing is.
Yeah, and I think most people have security on their phone, but you could still just plug it into your laptop and run a bug into it, probably.
And download away,
I mean, there's some stuff that is secure, but the analogy, like right now, we live in a world where we think we're secure even when we're not.
Right.
So like you see the armed guard, and you're like, I'm secure.
Yeah.
But then you're like, all right, armed guard. How often do you train? How many people have you shot?
If someone comes in and starts shooting, can you shoot?
Yeah. And so there's this thing of like it's the illusion of security. That's the word I was looking for.
Right.
So that's one option. The second option is charging lockers. So again, you don't find them everywhere. Nobody's built a good brand around those.
Right.
So, I would love to have real competition, but nobody's really done it. And they're expensive. They're like $2.99 an hour, $2.99 for 3 minutes, because not a lot of people use them. It only holds 6 phones at once. You're locking your phone up. So again, not everywhere, not scalable, not portable.
When you're locking your phone up, which means the communication ceases. So I can no longer check my emails while I'm eating my sandwich at lunch.
Or enjoy the experience.
Right.
Like if you're at Bridgestone Arena, like that's not the ideal solution. You want to be able to watch the Preds game as your phone charges.
Exactly.
So I always tell people like the ideal solution needs to be fast, portable, affordable, and convenient. Like that's what needs to exist.
So I want to speak on fast because that is one of the things, when you plug your phone in, and if you're not going to sleep, you plug your phone in, you're constantly looking at it saying, do I got enough? Can I make it through this charge and get what work done that I need to have done? And when you're in an industry like I am or like you are, your phone is vital to that communication piece back and forth with your clientele. So I plugged this phone in right at 110. It is now 124.
Let's get into what Rabbit does first.
Let's do that. Go ahead.
Because you're saying you put it in, they don't know what it is yet.
That's a good point.
Rabbit is a kiosk that is about the size of an iPad that is free to merchants, and they get 20% of the revenue it produces.
Right.
And it is essentially the Bird scooters of power bank rentals. So you download the Rabbit app, you look around you at the pins around you, click one, it tells you where it's located at XYZ bar, how many are full, how many are charging, how many slots are available to return one. You walk up to it, you scan the QR code, and it unlocks it and pushes one out, and out pops a portable power brick that we call carrots because our machines are called Rabbits. And that carrot has the cords built into it, micro USB, USB-C, and iPhone, which is pretty much every single phone on the market.
Right.
And, by doing that, and you're like, all right, now I have this fully charged power brick to do whatever I want. And so after that, you just do whatever you want. And so you can rent and return anywhere. So it's a network of them. And so, we understand what a great idea this is. We understand how everybody sees this and is like, holy shit, you figured it out.
Right.
Like this is the solution. But it only matters if you can scale ridiculously quick. So that's why we're scaling at about 12 cities a month right now.
It's crazy.
And we're going in at hospitals, bars, restaurants, hotels, venues, golf courses, anywhere people wait. And we have our second generation model coming soon. On top of each device is a 9.7-inch digital screen, where if the merchant enables it, it's their choice. They can enable advertising, and we'll sell the ads for them, and we'll give them 20% of all the revenue produced from the ads too.
And that's huge, especially depending on where it's located at. If you're at a bar and Jack Daniels says, you know what, I want to be on that screen, thirsty people make thirsty decisions,
Well, a better, another way of looking at this would say Budweiser's like, all right, we spent $50 million alone on not Facebook ads, on Super Bowl ads last year.
Right.
So what would it cost us to run a campaign that we can target per location? It's not that we can target per city or per zip. We can target per store.
Right.
So we want our Budweiser campaign nationwide at every single bar that a rabbit's at. And we're like, all right, we're able to enable that, not a problem. And so then the bar gets paid, we get paid, and Budweiser gets their ad in front of everybody everywhere.
Right.
And so, I'm all about creating businesses that are win-win. So for us, it's a win because we're giving them a solution that people are paying money to, and we make money from that, right?
Right.
From the merchant, it's a win because they get asked about 15 to 20 times during a night, during a weekend for a charger.
You have a charger?
Yeah. And 7 to 10 times during a weekday.
Right.
And so so there's that. So their customers are happy. 2, they get paid from it. And then the consumer's happy because they're like, wait, I can have a fully charged phone for 99 cents.
Yeah.
So, like, what time is it right now?
Let's see. It's 1:28.
What time did you plug in your phone?
Plug this at 1:10 is when I plugged it in. Now, let me go to something. How much does this cost an hour? You already said it.
99 cents
99
an hour.
cents. Okay. So my phone was at 6% when I plugged this in. It is at 39% now. And mind you, this whole time I've been text messaging and emailing and everything else while we're having this conversation. So it's not like my phone's been sitting here stagnant, not doing anything. So we're at 39% in 18 minutes. So that makes it extremely affordable because now I have this power bank that I won't even have to have it for an hour, before I can plug it back in and we're good to go and I can go back on, with the rest of my day. So 99 cents for a quick burst charge. And this is one of those things you can't plug your phone in at your house and get this quick of a charge, in my opinion. Most of us, especially if it's something pressing where we do so much communication on the phone, text message, email, all that stuff to keep in touch with our clients, it's invaluable. You're paying $1 to keep in touch.
And I'll say this, like, we're not a fast charging company. It's not it's just a typical charge, to my knowledge. But it's also not a slow charge. It's like our goal is not for them to have it forever. Our goal is just to, like, safely charge their phone. If we ever charge it, then that could create problems and heat problems and everything else.
Right.
But yeah, it is, it is the solution. And, I just love that we're keeping people safe and we're keeping them connected. So I always say, like, whether you're the 19-year-old freshman at Belmont or freshman at Vanderbilt who is going out for the night or just forgot to plug her phone in, now has head into class.
Right.
And she can grab one from her dorm for $1 an hour. Whether you're her or you're the 50-year-old CEO of a Fortune 500 company who's been speaking all day long and is in between events. Like, I wonder, like, I guarantee you Gary Vee has 5 iPhones on him.
Right.
And he has somebody on his staff that full-time charges power bricks. Because it's so, like, the thing about this is, like, most of us have bought power bricks. How many power bricks have you bought?
I've got one in my backpack.
And how often is it charged?
Well, I have to make a mental note to charge it every time I'm going. So that's a good point. So I have a power brick, and this brick is 3 times the size of this thing. And it's clunky, and I got to take it through the airport with me. And then when I arrive to said city and I'm sitting in my conference, I got to make sure it's charged. And by the time the conferences are over, it's dead, and I got to charge it again. This solves problems. I don't have to carry this thing through TSA. You should see the looks I get on their face when I carry a thing dude, I'm telling you, it's the size of a brick. And they're scanning it through their x-ray, and they're like pulling it back and pushing it back forward. They're like, what is that? And the countless times I've had to pull it out in TSA because I don't know what it looks like to them, but it creates a hassle.
Yeah, and that's very machine. Because, like, now I roll with, like, 50 carats on me. So my bad's been going through, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I own the company. I'm the CEO, okay?
Exactly. You got all these orange blocks, So let's talk about, all right, now I'm not, but we're now up to 43%. We're making some progress on charging this thing. The power brick appears to have plenty of power with it. There's a couple different options. Let's say I say, you know what? I'm not going to sit here at this bar. I'm going to go down the road. I'm going to go hang out with a buddy, but I want to hold on to this thing for a little while. And so tomorrow comes, I wake up, I jam down to the bar, and I was like, oh, I got the carrot. I need to put the carrot back. Is there a cap on what I'm being charged for utilizing this, even if I keep it for 24 hours?
Yeah, so it's $1 an hour. It maxes out at $5 a day. And then after 8 days, it's an automatic purchase.
Okay. So next day comes around, I go down, and I see a carrot machine, or not a machine,
a rabbit kiosk.
A rabbit kiosk
that rents carrots.
See, this is complex, guys, but the branding on this is amazing. This all comes together so well, and a lot of that I think comes
what do
from your
rabbits
background.
eat stereotypically? They eat carrots, yeah.
Right?
So you're either feeding a rabbit or grabbing a carrot from one.
Right. So then I go back and I show up and I say, okay, I'm ready to return this thing. So I go to the machine and I pop it in the machine, right? And it returns and it stops the charge and it begins to charge this back up for the next user, correct?
Exactly. So you don't need to scan anything. All you need to do is just push it in the machine reads the battery and says, okay, Alex returned his carrot.
Okay.
And so if, like, for example, we go to a lot of hotels and their big risk is like, hey, what happens if somebody's here? They take it up to their room, they leave it, house cleaning finds it.
Right.
I was like, all house cleaning needs to do is put it back in the machine. They don't
Right.
need to scan anything. Like, it's just like, put it back in the machine, it's good to go.
Yeah. So they pop it back in the machine, it's good to go. Next user comes up, scans, they pop it out. One cool thing, you helped me download the app. The app is super simple to download, but, obviously going through this kind of the beginning phases, we talk about what the product is and everything else. So we download the app, and the cool thing is I can pull up the location of every rabbit that's within the vicinity of the area that I'm looking it up for. So if there's one down the road, or if we're going to a different bar, if I'm new to town, let's say I go to San Diego, I can pull it up and say, oh, okay, here's all my rabbits right here. Now I have a mental note of where I can go to get things logged in, or if I'm looking to return one, I can find the one that's closest to me. It's an incredible app. I think it's awesome. I looked at it, and there's no question about it. There's a lot of thought out.
It's like I ran a design company for 7 years.
Exactly. Well, see, and that's huge. So take me to your Instagram. How do I get to your Instagram?
Just go to userabbit.com.
Okay.
And click the Instagram logo.
So if you go to userabbit.com, click the Instagram logo, you will see these are incredible photos. The videos are awesome. Like the thought out things that went into building this company. This isn't one where you just woke up and said, hey, let's get a bunch of charging bricks and just do this. I mean, that process may have taken place, but the release of this thing has been very complex.
I truly believe that Uber is going to be our biggest competitor.
Right.
And with their access to Uber Eats and hundreds of thousands of restaurants and stuff, they could activate that very quickly. And what do you need to be able to use the Uber app? You need a charge phone.
Yes.
And so just like how they got into scooters with two different scooter companies, they own about 40% of Lime, and they own 100% of another scooter company that they just bought. And so, from that perspective, I was like, we have to scale really quickly. We have to take this very seriously. We need to be trustable from day one. Now, the big advantage is that I've worked in branding for 7 years. So if you look at our power brick, this doesn't look like a MVP.
No.
Like, this looks like a fully viable product that is like a real thing that is already, like, people see it at a bar and they're like, oh, this must be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's slim. For those of you that can't see what I'm seeing right now, you're seeing something that's equivalent to the size of an old iPhone, if you ask me. I mean, and so you can slide both of them in your purse, both of them in your pocket without having this big, bulky, like my charging brick. My charging brick's huge.
And we're working on making it 30% smaller.
Right.
Which, it's funny when I say that, I feel like Steve Jobs, like, and this iPhone is now 4% slimmer.
Yeah. But that's a huge difference.
But no, it really is. I mean, 30% when it's, because it's pretty thick. You have a pretty thick case on your phone. It's about as thick as your phone.
Yes. I have a Pelican case on my phone, so those of you that have a thicker, more protective case, it's about the same thickness, but the dimensions of it are much smaller.
Yeah, for sure.
What I'm thinking of is the guy with the suit coat on that needs to slide this in his suit coat as he's walking up to give his presentation, or the woman that has a clutch bag and this slides in there with no problem. And I want to touch on something else that you mentioned, the safety aspect of this whole thing. Having a charged phone at the end of the night after you've been out enjoying or entertaining is vital. How else do you get an Uber if you're in a different city or even your own city if your phone's dead?
Exactly. And when we look at universities, it's like, hey, university, here's a solution that's free to you. Mm-hmm. And profitable, you get paid.
Right.
And you get paid.
Right.
It doesn't take up a lot of room. Oh, and by the way, look at bad things. Like, do a survey on bad things happening to students, sexual assault, whatever the case is.
Right.
And then do a survey of, was this made worse because your phone was dead or unavailable?
Right.
And you'll see an enormous spike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is huge. So you've released Nashville. Nashville's live. You've got some incredible locations. Everything that's went into this is amazing. From the person that keeps this at their bar, their library, wherever it may be, it's profitable for them, so they're making money off of it. It's aesthetically appealing.
And right now, as an early vendor, we have like a media team that seriously goes out every single day, takes professional photos, and creates a video for them. We'll take a video of their food, we'll take a video of whatever they want, and we'll throw, of course, our machine into it. So we use it for our content, and then we send them the stuff to say, hey, if you want to use this for your social media.
It's basically free branding.
Yeah.
You want to put one in my office?
And we're doing that because it's like, hey, we understand the value of like our first initial merchants.
Right.
And that was, a big surprise to me. I thought, look, I'm solving the number, like DJ booths we've been going on. And DJs have been like, look, I get asked for a phone charger more than I get asked what song to play. And they're not being, sarcastic about that. They're being like super legitimate. Like that's the number one question I get as a DJ.
Right.
And, so when you're talking to the DJ and talking to these people, you're thinking, all right, like people obviously are always going to say yes to this, but there's still a sales process. Even though it's a free product that gets them paid, it's typically first touch with their staff. Their staff loves it. Say, hey, you got to come meet our GM. The GM is like, yeah, I'm all about this. And he either signs on the spot or he's got to get corporate's approval, and that takes another 3 weeks. So that's kind of what's holding us back. But, we got Topgolf Atlanta. Topgolf Nashville's about to get closed.
Nice.
We launch Atlanta next week. My goal was we might launch it over the weekend. I literally might leave here and drive straight to Atlanta and just get us live. I need to rent a U-Haul, though. We don't have, so all the units were shipped to my office here in Nashville.
Right.
So we have signed contracts in Atlanta, and what we do, we have hundreds of merchants or contractors across the U.S. that are currently signing up merchants.
Right.
So when we decide we want to go live in a city, like Dallas, Texas, will be very soon for us, all we do is drop ship the units there, and within a week, we were just doing installs all week, and now we're live in that city.
There it is.
And then I speak at a local college, a local high school or middle school. And, of course, the college, I'm talking about entrepreneurship and really the details of Rabbit.
Right.
High school or middle school, I'm just talking about what it means to be an entrepreneur and what it means to accomplish goals that you set forth. At the end of the day, I'm at a 15 on my ACT. And so this
Watch
idea...
out colleges.
yeah. So I'm at a 15 on my ACT. So, what does that mean? That means, all right, you're going to be a loser.
Right.
But it was one of these things of, hey, guys, I'm just very driven. I know what I want to accomplish in life.
Yeah.
And because of that, I get what I want. I've always tell people, I've dated the most incredible women because I knew going into, dating and relationships and everything, exactly the type of person I wanted to date. I wanted to date somebody who loves Jesus. I wanted to date somebody who's sweet, attractive. I had my checklist.
Right.
And so that's the way I look at business. All right, I need to build $1 billion company that solves $1 billion problem.
Well, and it's knowing the direction. You're pointing the ship to the proper port and getting in and getting the things accomplished that you need accomplished, So this is
and
huge.
And realizing that you're not, all I do is the best thing about Rabbit, and I really mean this, is that because we raised venture money, I was able to hire an executive staff.
Right.
And it is so awesome to be able to hire the most legit CFO, the most legit. I hired a guy from Silicon Valley that moved here to build this.
That's awesome.
And then built a dev team for us.
Right.
So to be able to build an executive staff is incredible, and it just shows my job is money, vision, where we're headed, and I always say the huge things and the tiny little things.
Right.
But then it's really just trusting the people you hire and letting them do their job and loving them like you would love your own children.
Yeah, you can't devote yourself to the successful portions of owning a company without the proper people in place. Those people allow you to progress forward, so you're not worried about the books and the advertisement and the logistical side of things.
And there's not an ego thing. Like my staff understands when I'm speaking at a high school, middle school, meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, speaking at a college, meeting with our local merchants, doing all of that, and then redoing it again 2 days later when we launch another city.
Right.
They understand, all right, Nathan, all he is just doing press. And it's yeah, that's what we need.
Right.
And
exactly.
I'm just who else is going to do press? Are we going to hire a full-time hype man?
Right.
Hey, here's not the CEO of the company. It's just that's what we expect.
Yeah. Well, it's what you excel at. It's what you're good at. You're well-spoken. You know the vision. You know the mission. You know everything behind the product. So who better to regurgitate that than the person that created it, or the person that's pushing it and the person that's been with this since its infancy.
And we have really good intentions,
right.
When I tell people hey, we're going to build a bunch of wells, we are. And when I tell people we pay our staff well, we do.
Right.
And so there's just something about hey, we're a good intentioned company. And honestly, cities have been super welcoming of that.
Right. Right.
So cities are saying, hey, you're tech and you're new. We want to help you out any way we can.
Yeah.
We'd love to make introductions to you. We'd love to get you into the, the football stadium, so on and so forth.
Yep. Nope, that makes perfect sense. And like I said, this thing's amazing. We're up to almost 60% charged. That's insane. And I know this isn't a fast charger, but that just goes to show. So let me ask you this, a couple quick questions before we close this out. I am a bartender or a place that wants this within my company or wherever. How do I get in touch with you, or what are the proper channels to reach out to get that done if I'm on the vendor side of things?
Yeah, so the best thing you can do is go to userabbit.com,
Okay.
download the app, sign up, and then on the top right, once you get to where the map view is, you can click, it's like a little question mark. Click that, and I think like fourth down, third down is something called live chats. We have live chat directly built into our app because we're legitimate about like serving our customers.
Customer service.
So you just click live chat and say, hey, I would love to get, a unit, and somebody will hit you back with, okay, how many people view your at your place a week, where are you located, so on and so forth. And we launch city by city. We're not going to put like one in Milwaukee. We're going to put 1,000 in Milwaukee.
Right.
But we can add you to that list when we're going there. And another way, you could go to merchant.findarabbit.com.
Okay. Awesome.
And that has a form too.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. So those of you that are interested in this, obviously, feel free to reach out to those channels. The cities are going to launch as they become full, so you're going to announce those launchings as they trickle down.
Our Instagram's a great way to just see stuff.
Yeah.
But, if you're interested in investing, we're always raising money. Currently, we sell invites to our Series A, so if you want an invite to invest in our Series A, we've already raised a seed. You first have to do a minimum of a six-figure loan, which is a 12% interest loan. So we pay a lot for that money, but that money allows us to keep growing into new cities. And so the best way to do that is, again, just like live chat, download the app, live chat, and somebody on our staff will get you in touch with me, and we'll go from there.
That's perfect. Nathan, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. You have an amazing product here. I hope those of you that have listened, this thing's amazing. I mean, there's no question. You solved a problem that all of us, and I've been the guy there where I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, man, you got a charger by chance? Because I'm in some random city somewhere and my phone's dying and I'm trying to communicate and everything else. Just got off the plane. So this is an amazing thing. And those of you that are interested in putting this into your stores, you heard how to get signed up with that. Any final closing thoughts or anything like that, Nathan?
Yeah. Just treat your employees well. This has nothing to do with Rabbit, but we're going into so many merchants. We're meeting so many awesome employees that do so much for the business.
Right.
And I'm seeing this more and more. Maybe this is the older I get. Maybe this is just the realizing how little I know and how great my staff is. But just realize the value that your employees bring to the table, and really let them know that you appreciate that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's great. That's probably one of the best closing thoughts, that I've heard in a long time is value your people. Your people never let you down. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope everybody's having an incredible Friday. I apologize for the break between episodes. I had a lot going on, had equipment issues. We've got upgraded equipment. What do you think of the new stuff?
Dude, it's so incredible.
It is. And the table.
I mean, I'm going to beat it now that I know what I have to beat. I'm like, all right, cool.
Right. We set the bar. And speaking of bars, this table was built by a local company called Built by Design. Make sure if you reach out to them, if you haven't seen this table is absolutely amazing.
So it's seamless. So like where the mic plugs into the table, where the aux cord plugs in is completely seamless. So there's you don't see any exposed cords really. And then on top of all that, it's a big table that then rises. So it's an adjustable table.
Yeah.
It can be a standing desk, which I don't know if it will ever be used that way, but it's just one of those, look what this does.
Right. Well, and the reason why we can't use it that way is, 20, 30-minute podcast, eventually people get tired and they start huffing and puffing and everything else. But no, tables built by Design. They're located here in Spring Hill, Tennessee. They do anything from custom tables to, they're doing a custom overhang at my house, like a patio cover. They do anything. So if you find the need to reach out to them, please do so. Let them know that I sent you. Thanks again for tuning in.
Oh, actually, I want to talk about Rabbit platform. Can I do that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So people are like, hey, this is awesome. I really want to be involved.
Right.
So something we have is any city that's under 300K population, Spring Hill, Tennessee. Any city under 300K population, you can buy that territory from us.
Right.
You buy the units from us at cost.
Nice.
You use our branding, our marketing, our playbooks, our customer support, our app support, so we handle all that. We take 25% of every dollar generated. You determine what the merchant cut is. We do 20%. And now you own your own fleet of Rabbit kiosks.
Nice.
And you get to manage that fleet via our dashboards.
Right.
And it's yours to manage. It's just like a franchise. And we handle the complete tech stack along with saying like, hey, here's ads we've ran that have done really well.
Right.
Here's like a preferred vendor we use for XYZ, so on and so forth.
That's awesome. That allows somebody else the opportunity of entrepreneurship at basically little to nothing when it comes to buying.
Yeah, because people are like, people sell scooters. Are like, man, I want to manage my own fleet of scooters.
Right.
You know what I don't want? To deal with the government more.
Right.
That's like the thing about, like, I think scooters are amazing.
Yeah.
Because the average Uber's like 5 blocks.
Right.
And you don't need to use a couple 1,000-pound car to go 5 blocks. You can just ride a scooter there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't want to have to deal with local government.
Right.
And so that's what's so, when you look at running your own fleet of kiosks, you're like, all right, everybody wants this, everybody gets it, everybody loves it. And I pay a one-time fee for the territory, but then I buy the units at cost. So, it's a cash flow machine is the way we look at it.
And I was sitting here thinking before you even brought that up, I'm thinking of all the places that I go to. I'm like, this would be awesome. Here,
I know.
and here.
And we have, right now all our units hold 12, but we have our Rabbit Mini coming out, which holds 6.
Nice.
And that's going to go like hair salons and like places where people still need it, but it's just not as high traffic as your local restaurant.
And they still need it. And their hair salon, for example, they pop it out. They're getting their hair done. They get done. They shove the thing back in. It's not a place where they need, they got 200 people walking around saying, I need it. So it's amazing that our society has gotten to the place, though, where this thing is such a part of our lives that it has to be charged. But it's a good thing. It's a window of opportunity. So, all right. Well, thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you're having an amazing Friday. Like I said, if you want to reach out, if you want to download the app, we downloaded it at, one more time for me.
UseRabbit.com.
UseRabbit.com. So thanks
Rabbit
again.
is spelled Rabbit.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we bought all the domains of the ways you could spell it wrong.
Sounds like something I've done in the past where I bought all the domains. I'm like, somebody could spell this AJAY. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.